What is up? Welcome to the Badbeatbryce and Ryan the Rock All-In podcast. We are on week 31. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing really, really good. I wanted to start off the episode by saying we are just 22 subscribers away from hitting 100 subscribers right now. And we have been on quite a blitz recently. So please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already and liking this video. We really do appreciate the support. We've been on an upswing. We have an incredible lineup of guests that's coming up in the coming year. We're booked out through January, so there's plenty of content coming. So subscribe and make sure that you catch it. Bryce, this week on the All In Podcast, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is the fact that you played.
You calling me fat, Ryan?
No. I'm saying you played the main event. The 10K buy-in online, second main event of great, I guess. Some people were unhappy about it because it's the second one of the year, but you played it. How did it go? Tell us about the field, your experience. I know you had to travel to play in it because you live in some other state that isn't New Jersey or Nevada.
Yeah, so first off, there is a little bit of a lag, so hopefully that fixes itself. But yeah, so I live in Northern Virginia currently. That may change, maybe move into Texas. Stay tuned. Who knows where I'll be in 2 weeks. Anyways, so yeah, I drove to New Jersey and we had a comped room at Harrah's, so we stayed there and played. And yeah, overall it went pretty well. I found myself chip leading about 3 hours in, which is something I did not expect to be doing. And I had a solid stack for basically the entirety of the tournament. The blinds got up pretty big at levels like 7 and 8. They were 30-minute levels, so like 4 or 5 hours in, they started getting big. And then about 8 hours in, I found myself in about 100th out of 230, where about 110 cash. And I found myself, I lost a medium-sized hand, and then I woke up with ace-king. And essentially, the flop was king 8-5, 2 diamonds, and I had ace king, and he had pocket eights. And that was all she wrote. But I think overall I played really well. It was cool to be sitting next to some bigger name pros, as well as some smaller ones who are just well known, like such as Gal from Live at the Bike was at my table for a little bit. There are some other pros who have a couple million in earnings, but most people haven't heard of them, so I won't mention them. But the majority of the players at my table were pretty good, but at the same time, there were 1 or 2 fish who were absolutely horrible. I think I played most hands pretty straightforward, except for one. I made a fairly psycho bluff with no blockers, no nothing. It was just an exploitative play against a player who had been pretty tight, and I'd noticed overfolding rivers where on the turn he was calling. So in a lot of spots where he should be calling turn with the intention to call river, he wasn't doing so. So I bet about 55% pot with queen high and closed my eyes and prayed. And we held. But yeah, overall it was an amazing time. I got to be first and second with Ryan DePaulo there for a while. We both punted and didn't make the money. So
that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, when you sent me the screenshot of the listing with you on it right next to Ryan DePaulo, I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. I'm definitely looking forward to playing the live main event. Obviously, playing online was cool.
This is obviously your biggest buy-in event, by the way. What's your other biggest buy-in event?
Yeah, so the other ones I've played a ton of 1Ks or like 1,100, 1,200 in that range. I've probably played like 20 of those, but this was my first 10K. I sold about 70% I sold 30% of my action, so I had exactly 69% of myself to be precise. But yeah, very much appreciated everyone who staked me, and everyone sent me a very kind message after saying, "Great run, man! Like, I want to be the first one to know when you sell action again." All that kind of stuff. So
that's great.
It's good to know, even though I didn't cash. I ended up getting about 210th out of 750 or something. So I mean, decent showing. Obviously, nothing I'm happy about because as poker players, we're hard on ourselves. And even if I'd min cashed, I probably would have been a little annoyed. So
Decent but disappointed is all right.
yeah.
Is that right? It's a good
It was
first
a good
try.
experience though. Yeah, I'm
Really
very
cool.
much looking forward, and I really hope that COVID calms down so that not only can I play at the World Series live next year, but also mix it up in the cash games in Vegas because I hear they are very juicy during that time of year.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard that, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now in casinos, especially in Vegas, are like only you know, serious players are coming back right now to play in the casinos, and that there's not really a whole lot of fish. People are really tight in Vegas right now.
I disagree to an extent. And the games I've gone to at least are pretty soft. Borgata specifically, the players suck. So my home casino is mainly MGM National Harbor, which I think people know. It's very much action. I heard a story. I can't remember if it was at the MGM or at Vegas, but people were literally blind straddling like $100 in a 2-5 game the day people came back, and people were making literally ridiculous plays just because they hadn't played poker in like 5-6 months. So
yeah,
people
so
were
they're just like, I
punting.
need to bluff every time.
Yeah, and obviously that's not sustainable. Similarly to just like the little bit of a poker bros boom where the action was just nuts and the games were so soft. Obviously they're still fairly soft if you game select well, but yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens with COVID, vaccine coming out, all that good stuff. But hopefully things are better.
This is coming to an end sooner or later.
Yeah,
that's the good news.
Let's hope.
But on an even brighter note, I think we should go ahead and introduce the guest for the day.
Speaking of poker bros.
This week on the All In Poker Podcast, we are featuring more young poker talent. Ben Greenwell is a Milford, Ohio native and a senior at The Ohio State University, majoring in actuarial science while playing poker in the school's poker club as well, which he founded, I believe. Ben recently bested over 1,000 opponents in the first ever World College Poker Tour Fall Brawl, that's a mouthful, on Poker Bros, winning a championship belt, which I don't think he's gotten yet, a 6-day vacation package, a private lesson with previous All In Poker Podcast guest, Jonathan Little, as well as his own avatar in the Poker Bros app. Please welcome Ben Greenwell to the All In Podcast.
Hey, I just got the belt today, by the way. Here
let's go.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Woo!
So, yeah, we're rolling over here.
That is awesome, such fate because we had to reschedule due to me being an idiot and forgetting my headphones while I was in Atlantic City. Thank you for your patience, Ben.
No problem.
But yeah, that's a pretty dope belt, man.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to show it off.
That's so fun. Yeah, that thing's gonna go on the wall in the dorm room.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So amazing. I think just to get things kicked off here, you are, as we said, an Ohio State actuarial science student, and you're a senior now. Was it math that got you interested in poker? Was it some deep-seated degenerate instinct, or what's the backstory and how you got into it?
I guess probably a little bit of both, maybe a little bit more of the latter there. I definitely, one day, I think when I turned 21, honestly, I was just kind of looking for stuff to do on I had a weird work schedule. I was just working 40 hours, 3 days a week. And then my weekdays were free. So I just stumbled into a local Hollywood casino and then went from there, bought into my first poker tournament for $50. And I wasn't very good, but I was hooked. I just loved it. And then I pretty much became addicted ever since.
That's awesome.
Classic.
Yeah.
So yeah, among the many things you received from winning the tournament is a coaching session with Jonathan Little. What do you hope to get out of this session with one of the best poker coaches out there right now?
So yeah, I just kind of want to pick his brain as much as I can. See where he gets, how he kind of comes to his decision-making process, and also maybe go over some hands. I don't really have any right now that ready to review, but
I got two I can send you after this.
All right, sounds good.
So don't you worry.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, just really just want to pick his brain get as much as I can out of an hour.
Yeah. He's
Right.
definitely a great coach. Ryan, more
Really
so
nice
than
guy.
me, has gotten his content. I listen to all his morning coffees with Jonathan Little.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Ryan definitely has
I'm a big
absorbed
Jonathan
more of
Little
his
fan.
content. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, that's awesome to be able to get that package. Shout out to Poker Bros for putting on the event. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
So this tournament, as you said, well, this tournament was free to enter, and over 1,000 people were in the field. I watched the full final table and saw some pretty insane action. Like there were some crazy hands that occurred. Was that the case throughout the tournament? And how did you adapt your poker game to fit the wild game going on around you?
Yeah, there was definitely some insane action even before the final table. I just kind of had to tighten up a little bit and try just kind of wait it out, wait for um, decent pocket pairs usually, and some higher suited or even like maybe just some good aces to go with, and then um, yeah, like I said earlier, the kind of cards just played my way, and it yeah, it was pretty hectic. But I was lucky enough to turn some good hands against some pretty chaotic players early on in the tournament, and then the final table, there were some tough players, but I got through them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely worth noting that the final nine was a different format in the sense that everyone started with the same amount of chips. It
right.
wasn't taken from what they had previous to the final table, as well as Ryan watched more than I did, and obviously Ben was there. But apparently there was a ton of min raising and just min clicking it back, which obviously I'm sure was just nuts to
I was
see, nuts to
pulling my
experience.
hair out.
Uh,
I was so frustrated.
yeah, I very much hate min raising. Yeah, my girlfriend. We've been to bar poker before, and she raised. She raised not even 2x, and I'd yell at her, and I'd be like,
Oh.
always go 3x, always. And she's learned, and she's crushing the games now. But yeah, min raising is definitely something that definitely peeves off Ryan and I.
Yeah, it makes it easy for you to play perfectly. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh
you're
yeah.
getting the right odds to call with all your draws and
Yeah.
all your junk. Like, I guess you could just decide if you have the right equity with overs or something. Like, it's just so amazing.
Unless
Yeah.
it's a river on like the driest of boards and you have the absolute nutter butters, you just
Right.
do not min raise. You just don't do it.
These people were like min raising flops and stuff. I mean, it was pretty brutal in like small pots. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
That's so
Yeah.
painful. But you navigated a minefield of 1,000 people and managed to take out these chaotic players. So definitely props to you. Was there a moment that you knew you had a very good shot to win, or did you just go in with the mentality, we'll see what happens?
Yeah, I was definitely. I mean, I definitely wanted to win going in. Then, after I kind of sucked out to win my first big pot, I definitely thought, okay, now I just have to start applying the pressure on the lower stacks, and I should have a pretty good chance. And um, then I probably when I made my best call of the final table, then I knew I was in the driver's seat, and it was really my tournament to lose.
That's, I think, the hand we're going over.
Okay,
I have
sounds
this
good.
giant grin on my face right now.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
that one.
excited. I have not seen the hand yet, so I'm excited to analyze it
That's
with
so
you.
exciting.
But so yeah. Anyways, what are your poker goals for 2021 as we get back to and beat the pandemic and get back to live poker?
I would say uh, probably to move up in stakes. I'm still kind of grinding away at micro stakes at this point. Still, I mean, the main goal in not just not poker but my life is to graduate this semester. So that's definitely
Fingers
number
crossed for
one.
you.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Got a few classes to knock out. But then, yeah, I just kind of want to improve with using poker coaching. I'm starting to go through the courses that Jonathan Little has on that website. Mainly,
Pokercoach.com.
yeah, just improve and definitely move up in stakes, and hopefully take home some more hardware like this belt I got.
Yeah.
Hell
Speaking
yeah.
of which, do you see yourself specializing in cash games as we go forward and you graduate and stuff, or has the tournament itch hit you since you just won this?
Yeah, I definitely I love tournaments. I could definitely see. I think I'll probably definitely try to specialize in tournaments, honestly. But definitely you need to play cash. Look for good games because I mean that's obviously where a lot of poker players make their living. But poker tournaments, there's nothing like them, and um, like you, Bryce, like you playing in the main event this year. That's definitely something I'd like to do within the next few years as well. That's another goal of mine.
It's a good time.
Oh yeah,
Hope to see you at the table.
hope to. Yeah, that should be interesting.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if that's a compliment
No,
or
no,
that's,
it's a genuine. I hope to see you.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay.
funny. That's
I
funny.
see you, Bryce.
oh my goodness.
Thanks, Ryan. So you mentioned that at your school you created a poker club. Could you tell us a little bit about that? We went to a small school, and the poker scene basically took place in my apartment. That was the whole scene.
Yeah.
But
was it.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was basically when I kind of got the poker bug, started the itch to play, and I was looking, I was trying to find like-minded college students to play with, and so I looked, and it turned out we didn't have a club here, or at Ohio State, that is, and yeah, I just decided why not make one, and few buddies of mine, not as big of poker players as me, but they still like to play, and we all went in and started to play like once a week. We started actually in the university math building. We weren't really playing actual games, but
Do you mean for money? That probably wouldn't be
yeah,
allowed.
yeah, real money games that is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, so now we this past semester we started to grow a little bit, and then started to yeah, play some like kind of underground games, not on the campus, but kind of made them unofficial really.
Yeah,
And
little disclaimer there to Ohio State. Don't worry, they're
Yeah,
not
don't worry.
officially with the club or the school.
They're just having a good time.
just having a good time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
That's
awesome,
awesome.
man.
Thank
So
you.
I think we should transition over to your hands because I'm so excited about
Oh,
both.
yeah.
Let's start here. Let me snag this. Perfect. So we'll start at the end. Here we
Okay.
are, heads up for the championship. Can you tell us a little bit about your opponent here? I think
Can you
this
zoom
is
in
a
just a little?
female, Miss Hernandez.
Yep. So yeah, she was a pretty good player. A lot of min raising on her end though, which I definitely kind of fished it out a lot of the time.
Yes.
But yeah, she was a solid player. She had the big stack. I think she won the first big pot of the tournament, which was aces over kings. And yeah, she did a good job of hanging on to her big stack. And so once I got down to her, this hand, I had a king eight. Yeah, yeah. See, I was on the big blind. And then she raised me up. So as a big stack with a suited king, I just decided to three bet, hoping she would probably fold, and then I would be in even more of a commanding position. Then she called, so we went to a flop.
Well, let's talk about the pre-flop first.
Okay, yeah.
I think the 3-bet is totally fine given that we're still mega super deep. I mean, I guess she only has 64 and you have 254, so I guess you're not super duper deep. But it's a pretty small pot right now with a single raise, and now this 3-bet up to 6 big blinds. So it's not like we're really putting a whole lot at risk here. I think it's great because we want to be putting max pressure on her the entire time. And I like it because we're going to be taking the betting control if she flats and we go to a flop. And it's really great to be taking positional advantage away as the big stack. We really want to bully them when they're on the button.
And I don't think you have to go massive. One, because of the
Mhm.
stack depth you have, and secondly, just the fact you're in position. And like Ryan said, you'll have the betting lead post flop, assuming she doesn't decide to four bet. And if she does, you have a very easy decision pre flop.
Right.
So I know you mentioned that she'd been just clicking it back a lot and min raising. Had you noticed her pattern of doing so? Was it typically for value? Was she polarizing it? Or what was the significance of her betting patterns thus far?
I,
Obviously, you said she's a decent player, but
yeah, I had I think she was definitely polarizing it. I had caught her min raising the one time. The hand we'll probably go over here soon. That it ended up being a bluff, and I called like she. I think she min raised on the flop or on the turn. I think, and then put in, and then she would. I think she. We'll get to it when we come to it, but yeah,
sounds good.
it
I know
was definitely
exactly what you're trying to
polarized.
say. Yes.
All right, let's see a flop.
Okay, so she puts in a call, and we're seeing a flop.
Pretty good flop for king eight.
Top pair on a pretty coordinated board. Heads up, where ranges are really wide, so plenty of things can connect. But we're pretty happy here. Top.
Oh yeah.
Well, top, almost top. And we go ahead.
Oh,
and we
we're
lead.
out of position. I'm dumb. We're in the big blind. I take
Yeah,
back that
I
comment.
was
How
confused.
did you guys not yell at me earlier?
Yeah, it's
I was
all
confused for
right.
a second. So we go ahead and we lead out for 17,000 into 19,600.
I don't
think
love
it's
the
a little
sizing.
big.
Yeah.
Why'd you go so close to pot here? Why'd you go so large?
It just I don't really remember my thinking. I was just thinking in case she had a draw hand, I knew she wouldn't throw it away. Maybe I would want to size down a little bit then, maybe induce either a call or raise. But yeah, so I really just wanted to charge in case she had maybe a four flush or even a nine in her hand, which I didn't think she would have. Um, and yeah, so I just kind of went big with the sizing, just to kind of protect my top pair.
Um, so if she decides to, I don't know what happens this hand, but if she decides to just rip it in, I know you said she has a ton of draws available. Are we just snapping her off? Because this is about 25% of her entire stack, this sizing. So I'm assuming your plan is, if you're going to size up this big, to snap her off, or are you nervous and you're betting with the intention to fold if she does jam?
Well, as you will see, I had no intention of folding this hand. So she min raised as she had been doing. So I either put her on a draw, and I was fairly confident like she didn't have an eight, and if she had me beat, then oh well. I was not like it wouldn't have been that much of my stack. Um,
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's the issue with sizing so big here, because I think it looks pretty strong, especially as you're the preflop aggressor. So her clicking back, I don't really think she would do that all too often with draws. I feel like she would just want to rip it in, because at this point she's only got 33k behind, so she's gonna be jamming any turn. So when you size this big, I mean, I don't think you're good here, like ever, unless she has like ace nine of diamonds. That's not fair. Not that you're not good, but like she's putting the money in 100%. And if you were to size, say, 9k, and then she min clicks it back, you have the option to either call and there's 18 in, and to reevaluate a turn, or just decide to fold, which I think might be a little too nitty considering how wet this board is and the board texture. But yeah, this looks pretty strong, I think. I know you said she's been clicking it back with a lot of bluffs, but considering you three bet out of position, I think that she probably has you beat. What do you think, Ryan? Yeah.
Well,
I think jamming's okay.
Right, I think jamming's
at this
perfectly
point.
fine here.
I think it's totally standard. There's so many different draws she can have. I just think that I mean, if she doesn't call this, I would literally be dumbfounded.
Right. Yeah. It's like, she does have all the available or all the suited available combinations of 9-10. She has plenty of diamond draws. She has plenty of pair plus draws that we're beating. Like 8-9, we're still the favorite against, unless it's exactly 8-9 of diamonds. Then I think we're flipping.
Or even 9x with a diamond. I mean, we're gonna put it in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I do agree. I think that given how small her stack that she has left, I don't think any ICM machine would fault you for this jam with this specific hand.
Gotcha.
And I think the fact that we don't possess a diamond or a heart is important here. If we had the king of diamonds in our hand, I would not approve of this.
Yeah,
jam.
I would definitely. Yeah, I would have definitely seen wanted to see another card if I probably had the king of diamonds.
So let's see how this went. Sticks in the call.
What does she have? I can't see. Oh my gosh!
Calls it all off with the A7 of hearts.
Not only does she call it all off. No. Well, she does. If she's gonna make this play, just rip it in. He's never folding. Like, if he has a 5, he's gonna call you. You know what I mean? Like, why the hell would she min raise you? That's so bad.
Min raise with the intention of calling a jam.
That's so bad.
It's really weird. Like, you know, I don't get the min raise because min raise makes no sense.
I honestly don't hate a jam. Like, when you flop second pair here and you 3-bet, yeah, you could have overpair and she's dead. You shouldn't have that many 8s. I mean, yeah, you have some, but like
specifically king 8 and ace 8, but like not anything else.
A9 suited sometimes. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah. She was definitely playing with a. I definitely didn't think she had that much. I think maybe she was just ready to. She wanted to double up or just
call it a night.
Or yeah, exactly.
Well, that's an interesting question. How long did the final table was only what 2.5, 3 hours?
Yeah, not too long. It was I think it was probably maybe 2.5.
Yeah, that was a good final table though.
Yeah, it was fun.
So was this the final? I'm assuming we break out and we're good. Yeah, it's not like we chopped this. Oh,
did it not? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we haven't seen the river yet.
Yeah.
All right. And Ben wins.
Yeah. Woo.
So now we have the second hand.
Oh, look how organized Ryan is today. Let's go.
Wow, look at this.
The good old 5-6 in the big blind.
Oh, yeah.
Big blind special, baby. Let's see what happens.
So we see an open from under the gun.
I hope
flat from the cutoff. And we go ahead and defend here with the 5-6.
Yeah, pretty easy call.
Explain? Yeah. You think so? A pretty easy call here. I think 5-6 off is a little loose in your construction here because I would
considering it was under the gun.
Yeah. Right. Especially considering it's an under the gun raiser. I mean, if BLA Claire is wild, then yeah, I think maybe. But I think, you know, if you had the cutoff and the button calling, then I think maybe it's a little bit more incentivized to call with 5-6 off. But I would prefer always to have the suited combination here.
If we have like 70 big blinds or less, we should just be snap folding this all the time. It's obviously a little better that we're deeper. And we can still put pressure on these. I mean, the cutoff has a ton of big blinds, but we can put some pressure on them just having a bigger stack. But it's okay. It's fine. Good flop.
Yeah, very good flop for that hand. Not much action to start it out.
I think this is a check all the time.
I think it checks through.
Oh, here's the cat.
Yeah, so obviously we feel pretty good about our hand if it checks through here with the gutter ball and second pair. Not a lot of turns we're gonna love though.
That one. We're not gonna enjoy that one very much.
Not much.
I'm very interested in how you play this.
Yeah,
do you check call mode?
Okay. I lead out just maybe. Yeah, because with the club in my hand, maybe I'll get a couple folds. I have a pair of 5s too, but it definitely progresses in a different way than what I thought would happen.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it because it gives the opportunity for high clubs to just repop you. Yeah, that's basically the analysis. Someone with the ace, king, or queen of clubs can just absolutely put pressure on you.
Oh yeah, but I really don't put any. I didn't really think those cards would be that big, like that common in their ranges. And I have the deep stack, so I definitely want to put pressure on those cards.
That's fair. And we expect BLA Claire not to have many good flushes here ever. And even if they had the ace, king, queen, or clubs, I expect them to continue on this flop. While it's 3 low cards, I still think that's totally fine to continue with, so that they could bluff on this card. So I expect them to fold and Hernandez to put in the raise, having not knowing this hand. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. let's do it. All right, min raise. God,
Yeah.
what is up with this?
So-
Okay, I mean,
Wow,
we
what
can't
what
fold.
a let's
No.
let's do the math here, guys. Let's do the math. We got to
There's
call
no analysis.
2,000 to win 12,000.
Yeah, pretty
6
easy
to 1
call.
on a call. I don't think you can fold anything.
No, not even if I had like a 4.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could
Or
be dead
maybe
here.
even ace high.
You could be dead, but I don't
Could be
think
dead.
Not often. Yeah. We
Right.
expect any 8, any 5, any 6, any 3 to improve.
Right. We're gonna stick in the call, obviously.
Interesting card.
Board pairs.
I think I check snap call.
And,
Depending on. Oh, never mind. I don't snap call.
pot.
Oh, I don't like this. Okay, it's interesting because we don't expect him to have that many flushes, and I don't really expect middling flushes to size up this big.
This is the same woman as the last hand. This is
Oh,
the
that's
Yes,
so
it is.
interesting. She polarized the fuck out of this. And I
Yeah.
actually don't think she should have polarized it this much unless she's that nutted. I'm calling this all day long because she can't bet a 7. She doesn't have that many good flushes. If she has 2 overs and a flush draw, she should be betting this flop in position 100% of the time. If she has a middling flush, this is aggressive on a paired board. And if she just has a jack, is she just assuming that you don't have nutted flushes,
Right.
because you were in the big
That's a
blind and you
poor
just decided to pop it up?
assumption.
Which it's not a horrible assumption, honestly. Like if she had ace jack here, this could be a baller play, like
Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
But I don't think she has that all that often. I think
No.
you're good. I think she's got a ace king or queen of clubs in her hand, and I think you're good. I'm calling.
Yeah, so that's what I do, and she turns over king 10 offsuit.
Let's go. Let's go. Nice
Yeah.
call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
game.
I just do not like how fucking big she went. It would have looked way stronger to go 8K into 12K, which we're still calling. But, like, the 12K literally makes me significantly more confident than had she, like, gone for 3/4 pot. She polarized the hell out of it on a board that does not make sense, like, as played. Like, she was in position, and she checked flop. Yeah, to min-raise turn. She doesn't even have a club. Like, can we just talk
Yeah.
about why she's min-raising with nothing?
It's just a really bad bluffing candidate because there's no blocker to anything. Like you can't even justify this. Like you could justify this more with king 3 than you can with king 10.
Yeah.
And with no club in hand. Like this is ICM suicide.
Oh yeah.
I see
Yeah.
no money. No, there's
Yeah,
still ICM.
I'm not
There's
even sure how
profit.
much.
I ran little calculations to try to figure out what
The
the
value.
ICM would have been for different things. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun.
That's
I love
fun.
that.
But-
So yeah, I think that's all the hands we have for you today, Ben. But we very much appreciate you coming on to have a conversation with us today. We look forward
Get that
to
belt.
seeing
Sport that
your
belt one more
poker
time.
journey.
You need to put that
Oh
down.
yeah, here we go. Here
Yeah,
we
so-
go.
Could you talk a little bit about the prize you got and where you're gonna rep that belt to get the ladies?
Yeah. So among other things, with the belt, I got a year-long subscription or membership to pokercoaching.com, the premium membership. So that's I've been taking advantage of that the past couple weeks. I got a free private coaching session with Jonathan Little, which I'm super hyped about. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I just messaged him today and get a date figured out for that. I got some wireless earbuds, which are pretty solid. They're no earbuds, but yeah. So it's and then the last one was a trip to Cancun, 5-night stay, and so I still have to redeem that.
First time out of the country.
Oh yeah. So I'll have to apply for my passport to do that, and
you.
yeah. So I'm super psyched about that.
And when are you getting your Poker Bros avatar? Has that already happened
Oh
yet?
yeah. I forgot about that one. It hasn't happened yet. I still haven't heard back from the guy. His name is Craig Capscott. He has to be in contact with the Poker Bros team, and I'll have to give them a headshot. Still not sure when I'll hear about that, but that's definitely something to be excited about.
Yeah, for sure. That's an awesome perk. I'm jealous.
So awesome.
But congrats on your success. Congrats on the win. Good luck graduating, and hopefully we'll be mixing up the tables soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
We have 2 more hands, I believe, for you
Yeah,
guys. One is mine, and one is one of our listeners, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, isn't it? It's our dear friend
Fox?
Fog.
Yes. Okay. Let me blow up this full screen for me, and try and remember what the hell is happening. This hand.
So we're super doopity deep here, as the cat continues to come back. Say hello to Maud. She's just got to be here.
Oh, I remember this hand.
Okay, now we go. Okay, so now he remembers it. Folds to us. I don't know, Bryce. Is sevens too loose to open under the gun 2 in a 10K event?
No, it's not too loose, especially off our stack depth.
I am curious though.
What's
What's the edge here? I know, like for me, one of my big leaks for a while was that I was opening like all pocket pairs from every position.
I'm opening 5s plus from this position.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I think that's fair.
Sevens
And
is
then
definitely
you probably lose a pocket pair per position back.
Yeah, I mean,
well, yeah.
it's not necessarily completely a standardized range. It does depend on the table dynamic, but yeah, that's fairly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Here we go. So we're raising up 3x, perfectly standard given how freaking deep we are. Bunch of nits folding. Get a call from Mathis in the small blind and a fold. Do we know any information on this villain here, Mr. Bryce?
I need to look at their full name to remember who it is, but most players had been like decently active and not okay. I think most players had been tight aggressive is the best way of putting it. But I don't remember this specific player on it. It was 2 weeks ago, but
all good.
Let's see what happens.
So we had to do a pretty ugly flop for the pocket sevens.
I'd say.
I mean, you know, what do you think in terms of like a small blind flatting range? I think hits this somewhat.
This definitely, yeah, this hits him. He's got a ton of 10s and jacks. He's got.
Right.
I don't expect him to king queen ace queen. I expect to repop me, but even he's got queen jack 10 jack. Any king continues 9 continues. He has so many continuing hands that I don't think it makes any sense to bluff. Because even a hand like ace high could continue. If he's got ace 9, he's going to continue. And even if he has like ace 5, ace 3, ace deuce, he could continue with backdoor flush draw. So I really think there's no merit in betting. I believe he checks this to me, and I believe I check back. I don't remember. Oh,
ooh,
fuck. Why am I betting?
Bet. We go really small here. I mean, I guess to your credit, you are an under the gun 2 opener here, so you should be able to represent all of those stronger hands you just named that he could have been 3
More
betting.
importantly, I actually think my reasoning was I don't think I'm gonna just fire 3 streets automatically in my head.
Sevens.
But I have all the ace kings, and I think that is an important thing to note. And by betting really small, I do think I can fold out his like ace 7s, ace 6s. You know what I mean? Like he's just completing from the small blind. He's not necessarily that nutted. And if he happens to have a pocket pair deuces through 8s, I think I can get him off it. So considering there are hands that can fold, I don't think betting's horrible. I'm glad I decided to size down a ton, and I think it allows me to formulate a good turn and river plan based on what cards come. But yeah,
I think one of the things to note as well is that he's a little bit shorter. He has 47 big blinds remaining. So I don't know, like when he calls this flop bet, which is not that
I think that was my logic as well.
Yeah, so is that he's short, he doesn't, you know, he values his big blinds.
Yeah. So he decides to call, and there's a 6 turn. God, I hope I check this. He should be checking this, and I'm like 99% sure I check this back, which I think I should be doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I should be doing this like every day.
And I mean, do you think your ace king does this here? I mean, do you think on rivers if he checks to you that you can?
You know, considering it's a 6 of heart, it didn't even bring in a flush draw.
Right.
I think I would either bet like to the tune of like 2,200 or check with ace king. I think I'm more like a 2,200 bet, but at the same time, if I'm only betting my nutted hands, you know what I mean? I think I would either bet like 30% pot or check. I think I'd probably lean towards a bet, but I think checking here is totally the play with my given hand.
Board pairing card on the river, I guess makes it less likely he has a queen, but it makes it less likely you have a queen.
Yeah, but I checked back turn, so I don't think I have that many queens.
That's
Because
totally
I
fair.
think he thinks I'm betting most of my queens.
Right. On
So
a
what I
queen 6, yeah,
even like ace jack, I think I'm betting turn here a decent percentage of the time.
I would agree.
So from his perspective, I can't have that many great hands.
Yeah.
So leading here, I don't think is a horrible play. I don't remember what he decides to size. 4,000. Yeah. So I don't think he has any queens here, and I think if he has a hand like ace jack, he raises. King jack could maybe go for this value, but it's still sizing decently big. I mean, it's not a massive bet, but I decided to flick in the call just because there's so many hands that he can have that would turn into a bluff. Any 9, any king. I think a pocket pair that decided to be sticky could even do this. I think there are draws that he could be doing this with. I think he's short. I think he's trying to chip up. And I have a big dick, and I want to whip it out and show the world.
And I think his call pre-flop, I think it really caps him here.
I agree. No, 100%.
100%. And especially given his stack depth, like if he had a strong hand like queens, 10s, jacks, maybe even like queen jack suited, it's like 10 jack suited, he may even be incentivized to 3-bet from the small blind.
Yeah, and ace jack. Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird flat. I think it makes it really suspect, such that when the turn goes check, check, this is a pretty...
Like if he had a hand like 10 jack off, I think he leads for protection on this turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So unless he just had like king jack off, like there's not really that many value hands that make sense. I think there are way more bluffs than value hands that make sense on this board.
Yeah.
So I think it's
With that being said,
I think it's a pretty easy call.
Ace 9. Wow, ace 9. That makes a lot of sense.
I forgot what he had, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's double gutty on the flop. Yeah, check call. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Check, check, turn, and then try to bluff at it on the Queen River. That's a perfectly reasonable bluff from him, I think.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Straight combinations. I think that's a good bluff. But yeah, really nice call there. I think that's not the easiest call to make in the world for most people.
Yeah, I really tried to detach myself from the buy-in and just play fundamentally sound poker, and I think I did a pretty good job of that.
And speaking of mentality in poker, before you go into this, a quick plug for one of our guests coming into the new year, Karim Chelly, who is in Vienna, which would be our first foreign guest on the podcast. He is a mentality poker coach. I'm so excited to interview him. But continue with what you were saying about mentality in the 10K.
I think Michael was talking about this 2 weeks ago. He was just talking about, like, if you're playing in these 1K events, like, you can't treat it like a 1K event. I really wasn't. I was really just trying to make a good decision, a good poker decision, going back to that king's hand. But, I think just detaching yourself from the result, and I think a lot of times people will play stakes that are too big for them. So let's say a 1-3 player's roll is $1,000, and they have $500 on the table. They're gonna be way less likely to call in a scenario just like that, where they think they're probably good, the hand does not make sense, but they don't want to lose 15% of their bankroll, making a fairly light call. And that's why you need to play rolled. That's why you need to separate yourself from the bankroll. That's why when you're playing rolled, also when you take a bad beat, mentally it is way easier. Like if you take a bad beat at 10 cent, 25 cent, it doesn't hurt. You're literally laughing. You're like, holy shit, how did that happen? If you take a bad beat at 25.50, you're gonna be pretty damn mad.
We've seen some tilt from the two of us this year.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely.
We're
all human. But yeah, just trying to do best at that as you can, and I think it comes with having a sustainable bankroll, playing where you should, and just experience and taking the beats over the years and just learning to move on from it.
That's the thing. I feel like because we're at two different points in our poker progression, I've like now gotten to this point where I've played enough hands that I now feel like I actually have a strategy, and like a real strategy. If you would ask me 3 months ago, do you have a poker strategy? I would have said absolutely, but I have no idea. Not fully an idea of what I was actually doing. I think I have more of an idea now than I did. I mean, that's just poker progression. It's good stuff.
Exactly.
Back to the hand here. Some really fabulous hands here on the All In podcast today. Some good old 6-4 offsuit, 5-6 off. We're really featuring the best of hands.
And we're winning with them.
That's the good news. Limping, a lot of limping. This is a check all day, I think. Great,
Yeah,
easy. free
even
flop.
I'm not squeezing this.
Yeah. I think Bog did say in a note for this hand that this was a very limp collie table. So he was like, if you were even so
That's
inclined
where
to
you
turn a wild
print,
hand into a
bro.
bluff,
That's
yeah,
where you print.
you want to be raising with your value hands and just taking a free flop with your garbage stuff.
I think with your garbage stuff in position, you can be taking down money.
Right,
That's
but
how
not in
I
the
was
big
printing at the Borgata, baby. But not
Yeah,
6-4
yeah.
offsuit in the big blind. Holy shit, we just flopped the nuts.
Oh, we did. We flopped the whole joint. Okay, so this is an interesting thing. If check two, I'm betting here. What would you bet? I think I'd go with 8.
Considering there are 5 people in the hand, I think there are, a decent amount of hands people could continue with. I think people are going to be continuing with like as light as any 6, any pair whatsoever, like 8-9 with gutters. There's so many different combos of things that can continue. Even if people shouldn't have like
I think you can
king,
go.
king,
I
queen
think you
and
can go
stuff.
pot here.
I would not go pot.
You
I
don't
would
think so?
probably go like 3 big blinds because there's no flush draw, and at the end of the day, we want people to be calling hella light. I mean,
True.
obviously we want a brick on the turn, but if we just pot it, we could lose customers. Where if we bet 3 big blinds, we could get 2, maybe 3 customers. And I mean, while we could get sucked out on, we want to build a pot. We have the nuts, and we.
Would you
want people to
agree
call
with
light.
a bigger bet if there was like 2 hearts?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
I would
think
maybe.
so too.
Yeah,
I agree with
but
the
I think
monitor.
55, 60% on
Rainbow.
this light ass board is the move. And
We
we check, which I think we can do a small percentage at the time. But
the problem is it's gonna stick
there's
around
5
a
people in the
lot.
hand, and not only are there 5 people in the hand, but it was not re-raised pre-flop, so everyone has junk. A lot of people could have any 7, any 5, any 3 should be calling you, especially if you only go 55, 60% of the pot. I'm calling you with king 3.
And you could also elicit some crazy raises from hands like that. A guy with
or someone
a
pocket
7.
3s. There's the chance someone has a set here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like
right.
you want to get money in that pot.
Oh, we
Oh
do.
my God.
We get a full pot size bet from cutoff.
No, he
That's a-
overbet it, didn't he? Weren't there
No,
5
10
big blinds?
times
Oh, he
pot.
bet 10. He potted.
Yeah, he bet
Okay,
10
gotcha.
as
My
pot.
bad. I was looking at the wrong number. This is an interesting spot.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
call the raise?
This might sound psycho, but I actually think I look to raise this.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. If he had a hand like a7, any turn, he's not going to love and wanted pot control even more. Whereas if he has a hand like a7, 7-3, like any 2 pair probably, I don't know what we're playing.
There might be going with it.
But
yeah.
if they're bad players, they're just going to go with it.
Yep.
But if they have a hand like queen 7, king 7, a7 that are trying to bet big, most turns, or not most turns, a lot of turns are going to make them just take a step back and be like, damn, this is a really good hand. If a king rolls off in the turn and they've got a7, they're not feeling great. They might even fold the turn. So I think bumping it up to like 30 here. We don't have to go massive. You don't have to make it 45, 50. Don't go psycho. But I would 3x for value, because what are they potting that would fold? Like, the answer is very few hands.
Right.
Very, very few hands.
Right. They are polarizing here, so I guess they can be doing this with air, but how often are they doing it?
Why would you
air?
do that 5 ways, on a 3-5-7
Exactly.
board?
Doesn't make much sense.
That's suicidal.
Yeah. But you never know.
So,
yeah, we've seen
the way
crazier
Fog
things.
plays, I actually think he's gonna flat.
Yeah, I think he does.
Oh,
He does. He sticks in the raise.
I apologize, Fog. I
That's
apologize.
my boy.
I just know against me specifically, you play pretty passively. But I am proud of this raise.
Yep.
I might go a teensy bit smaller, but at the same time, what is he potting that is gonna fold?
Exactly.
So it's okay. It's fine. I hope we get a call. I'm assuming we do. Don't pair the board.
Don't pair the board.
I jinxed it. I didn't think this would be a fun hand.
Those
if the
commentators
board
curse
didn't
right
pair.
there. Good lord.
I think we just have to check this. I think even if he has a hand like a7, like I said, king 7, he's gonna bet, and I think we just check call. Even though we took the betting lead, he has a lot of 7-5s. He's got a lot of boats. I mean, that's the interesting thing. I don't expect him to have like pocket 5s here or pocket 7s here like ever.
No.
So pocket 3s, 7-5, 7-3 are the what we're very afraid of. But yeah, we should be checking this. I hope we check.
I agree. I think on board pairing cards, this is something that's difficult for lower stakes players. Like, there's a lot of lower stakes players that would do the check raise on the flop and just say, "Oh, I check raise the flop. I have to continue on the turn." But
Yeah.
this is probably the worst card that could have rolled off. And some people will say, "Oh, should I bet here because I need to protect against the heart draw?" Well, no. And look at your hand. You also have the 6 of hearts, which is a pretty key blocker in a fully limp pot. So
Yeah.
I do agree. I think checks the moves here. Wow, obliges us with a nice bet. I think it's just going to be check call. Depending, I mean, there's not many rivers that are going to be like.
I mean,
super
we're folding to any 5 or any 3 river. You know what I mean?
Right. True.
But yeah,
that's
I mean,
not a lot.
I'm not folding this ever, even though I don't love it. I'm not folding. A 9, also not the best card in the world, but I don't think 6-8 is gonna be just barreling a 7, because I think you have a lot of 7s in his mind if he has 6-8. So yeah, I don't think this is the worst card in the world. Obviously, it's not the best, but I think he does more likely. He can have 7-9 just as likely as he can have ace-9. But I don't think he's gonna be betting pot with 7-9. I think he's more likely to bet pot with ace-9. Or I mean ace-7 on the flop.
And I think
this isn't the worst card in the world.
You haven't even said any of the flushes, because I don't think a lot of the flushes are in his range, because a lot of them are blocked, like the 5, 7, and 9.
I mean, what is he going to be betting? We hold the 6 of hearts. So
Right.
if he was betting like a combo draw, if he's just spazzing off with king jack of hearts, which should have raised king 10 of hearts, like what
There's
is he
no
spazzing
suited
with?
broadways
two,
he should have here in a limp
two
pot. No
overs
way.
backdoor flush draw. Like, I mean, yeah, he can have a flush like 2% of the time, but that 2% of the time is not very often. I'm gonna probably check call. I'm interested in what he sizes. Hopefully he just doesn't pot it.
What happens if he rips it in here? What do you do if he rips it?
If he rips it, I think I fold.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting thing for. Yeah, I get that's the thing is like limp pots are so perilous. Like this is
because we can have boats too. We can raise the flop with a set. Like some part of him has to be worried unless he actually has a value hand. I don't think he should be spazzing off on a 3-5-7 board.
Yeah,
and then jamming river.
Yeah,
because there's not really many like draws or many bluffs that you'd put him on.
Let's see.
I'm snapping.
You can't fold. I don't want to say you can't fold, but
you can't call turn to. And considering this hand was submitted, I think we're probably not good, but we're calling.
Yeah,
I don't know what the result. We're calling.
We're getting like better than 5-1 here with a straight on this board. Where I guess like villain can have a lot of boats, but like we still do beat a lot here.
If the villain is like Ryan the Rock and he's just taking you to Value Town, you can maybe fold this once in a while.
Right. And that's really true. If you see
it is value or player dependent.
Yeah. There are certain bet sizes. I'm sure now that you started playing live again, you've been seeing like, there are live players that always bet river small with value and big with bluffs. And you really have to pay attention when you're sitting at these tables and see hands when they go to showdown. Because if someone picks off a bluff, like you need to see what sizing they took and compare it to what they do when they do it for value.
Yeah, exactly.
But we put in the check
call. What do we get? 7-5.
No.
Oh, that's so gross.
I would be so pissed.
I just have no words.
Wow. He limped 9s in the cutoff? Wait a minute.
He limped 9s. He potted flop. He bet 50 on the turn when if you had top pair. He's just so dead to 2 outs. Oh my God. Like, you can't be upset. Like, sometimes they're just gonna get there with the wackiest shit. And honestly, I would be less upset. Okay, in the moment, you're more upset that he has 9s, but it's not like he has 7-5 and had you beat the whole way.
Yeah.
Like, he sucked out on you hard.
Yeah.
You can't be upset. This is gonna happen sometimes. I think the way you played the hand is fine.
Yeah.
We like that you re-raised flop. I think you don't necessarily always do that. I like the way you played this hand, and you have to call here. This time he had it. Next time he might not.
Right. That was good.
It's interesting he sized. I actually think he should have sized more.
But yeah. 100%.
Because
what did he bet 50 into?
Yeah, like if we have 7-5, he could get like all the money. I mean, yes, while he pots it, we fold, but he bet 50 into 180. He could bet 100, 115. You know what I mean? Like, while he'd be leaving himself like nothing behind and like be like seemingly pocket. Okay, that's not true. He could still fold. But like, yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, what are you sizing here? If you magically were in villain shoes on this river with 9s,
I would bet like 120.
Yeah, I would too. I think like around 2/3.
Yeah.
I don't think you should go crazy here, but I think you should go around 2/3 because I think you're getting snapped off by any flush, any straight.
And what's folding that
Seven.
called flop?
Worse boats. Like some worse boats might even raise you.
If you were open ended or some shit, you got there. You know what I mean? Like, what hands do you think your opponent has that re-raised you on the flop? Like,
Right.
what? Like a 7, which they're gonna call, probably. Like,
Yeah,
I
most
just
likely.
don't understand, bro.
That's a weird one.
Like, if you had ace 7 here, I think you call too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't love
absolutely.
it, but like, actually, yeah, it's a little tougher. But yeah.
In a limp pot, and with a7, if it were suited, you would probably squeeze.
Yeah. Interesting hand. Appreciate the submission. Just saw that. Hey, what's up, TJ? But thank you guys for watching. It was another great episode. Smash that like and subscribe button. We are gonna have an amazing January. Check out our merch. I've got some stuff coming in soon that I can flash. I think we're off next week, I believe.
Yep, we're off next week.
Celebrating. So happy holidays, everyone. Have a great New Year's, and we're gonna have a lot of great things coming in 2021. Stay safe and take care. Any closing thoughts, Ryan?
Let's get to 100 subs.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Away, let's get it.
All right, we'll see you guys
See ya.
in 2020.